Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. معاكم Ali Swar from Unreal Bahrain, and with me today is Zishan Shah, who's a 3D and multimedia artist. Also, our friend Yousef, the lead on Unreal Bahrain, is joining us shortly. But before we start the show, I want to welcome everyone. I hope you guys had a great week. Um, and I'm sorry we couldn't be on the show last week because of the processions of the month of Muharram. But we're back and we have 2 weeks worth of news to discuss. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. Um, and I would like to basically talk about a number of things. Of course, the Apple versus Epic situation. We're gonna go a bit in depth in that. Fall Guys is making the news for the past 2 weeks, so we'll basically go more into detail with that. The biggest announcement of the week: Nvidia releasing their new series of GeForce RTX graphic cards. Nvidia. And a lot more. So, thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the show. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest for the day, Mr. Zishan Shah. Zishan
Hi.
is a self-taught 3D and multimedia artist, and also a lecturer at UOB. Um, we're really glad to have you with us today here, Zishan.
Thank you.
Zishan, well, to start this interview, I wanted to basically have this opportunity to tell us more about yourself.
Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me. Um, Regarding my beginning of this computer graphics career as a computer graphics artist, or you can say multimedia artist and
Mm-hmm.
lecturer as well, I started my master's degree program. Like, first of all, I finished my bachelor's in computer science, then I was doing my master's in computer science. So while I was doing master's, I was involved in some sort of computer graphics applications while I was in the university.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, we didn't have any kind of computer graphics program. So I started to learn these applications by myself. So it
Mm-hmm.
was, I guess, year uh, 2002 when I was doing my master's.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the time I started to work on like visual effects application, 3D modeling and application. So in the beginning, when I started, I actually started a little, at the time when uh, these applications, like 3D modeling applications, were not uh, GUI based, or you can say graphical user interface based. These
Mm-hmm.
were all script based. So you have to write a script to create a like a sphere, or you have to write a script to increase the light in your environment. So that was
Mm-hmm.
quite a little hard. But
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, things have been a little changed. It has become more and more easier, and the community has, you know, grown so much uh, from where I started to now.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty interesting. I don't remember when I was interested in video games since I was a kid, right? But I've never thought that 3D modeling has started in a script format. Like that's news to me. I don't know about the audience with us here today. Um, Tell us more about like what kind of projects do you do 3D modeling for? I understand that you're a creative. Like you have a lot of photography projects. You're into filmmaking, multiple disciplines. But 3D modeling is specific. Like what kind of projects do you work on for that specific format?
When I started, this computer graphics industry, it like kind of overwhelmed me. Like, there was a lot of things. There were visual effects, there were 2D printmaking,
Mm-hmm.
there were film editing. So I was jumping from one thing to another, and I was tasting every bit and piece of, this whole big industry.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that really fascinated me was 3D modeling and animation. So I
Mm-hmm.
started as a 3D journalist, like a generalist is a person who works on, everything, like from abstract 3D design to, advertisement of something, or you can say a kind of small animation
Mm-hmm.
or these kind of things. But
Mm-hmm.
I started as a 3D generalist, then I moved to ArcViz, like visualization. I have started to create my own room. I was grabbing some projects from different companies as a freelancer, and I was doing that. I was enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like to do is the character modeling. Either it is for the movie animation or is it for the game. So currently, at this point, I'm more polishing my hyper realistic 3D modeling, like skills, like how to create a 3D model which exactly looks like a high, like a real person. So it's like this is kind of getting very trendy right now in the
Mm-hmm.
movie in the film industry as well in the gaming industry. So to make films more and more realistic, uh, like as you have seen in the Star Wars. So in the Star Wars, the past scene of Princess Leia, so they
Mm-hmm.
cannot reshoot that. So what did they? They remodel her, okay, and also the captain who is no more in this world. So
Mm-hmm.
they remodel him as well and portrait him. In movie like Irishman, they did that. So I am currently working and polishing on my hyper realistic skill,
Mm-hmm.
so which I'm really enjoying right now. It's like there is a huge, you can say, like a process involved in it, like from anatomy to create skin shaders, from skin shaders to look development.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite interesting.
No, that's pretty cool. Um, I'm just wondering, like, what's the first project that's like that really stuck with you? Like a project that you've done in 3D, and then you were like, okay, this is something that I wanna like be into. Like this is something that I wanna build onto. Do you have an example? Just a small example. It'll be fine.
Uh, I actually, started to work when I was in the 3D, when I started with 3D application software.
Mm-hmm.
I was quite getting very close to things kind of look realistic. So that quite fascinated me. Like I can create a realistic, scene or realistic objects in in a unreal world.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that clicked in my mind, and I started to experiment with creating objects, trying to make it look more real and more realistic. So I have a couple of like things. If you are willing, I can share with you right now.
Yeah, just send me a link,
Yeah.
if you can. Um, but
Yes, sure.
Actually, since Zishan is gonna send you a few links,
mhm.
a few things caught my ear when you were talking about basically going towards the uncanny. You know, you're moving away from the uncanny valley, and or should I say, the unrealistic world into the uncanny valley, and trying to achieve realism. One of the techniques that I noticed that some studios are doing is basically real-time capturing and real-time rendering technologies. Have you ever have you ever tried to explore those fields also?
Yes, at this point, the as this when we are talking about real-time rendering.
Yep.
So what I have like noticed right now is that as we were just few like moment ago we were talking about the graphic cards. So the graphic cards are becoming so advanced right now. They allow you to do real-time rendering,
Yep.
and especially the gaming industry is also changing due to this real-time like rendering. So it's like uh, there is like a rendering of a like for example an environment. Okay, now
Hmm.
that environment you create and then move into Unity or Unreal, and then you put the lights and everything on that. But
Mm.
things are quite changing right now. Like uh, they are being like some process which is uh, known as the PBR.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so PBR, what it will do is that it exactly creates the realistic environment as it looks like in reality, and then it moves to any of the gaming engine. If you know, and as when I was like a kid, when I used to play, not a kid, but when I was in university,
Mm-hmm.
and the first console which I bought, and that was the PlayStation 1. So there
Mm-hmm.
was a
Mm.
game called Driver. So when I was playing the game, the cinematic of the game, the intro of the game was so amazing. And when the game starts, so it was the first 3D gaming console. So the polygons were so, you can say, low polygon, that it
Mm.
doesn't seem realistic. So I always used to think like, why we cannot get the same result as we get the result in the cinematics.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So at this stage we have moved to that part. Now we are getting the same kind of result that we used to get during the uh,
Cinematic.
yeah, cinematic. So there's
Mm-hmm.
things are becoming more and more more realistic. They're moving to more realism.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that with the introduction of the new NVIDIA cards, we're really, really close to seeing something that's close to, I don't know, an Avatar movie?
Yes, I think one of the things that it will quite change right now is the VR industry, because the VR gaming requires more powerful processors and GPUs.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So it will quite affect. It will quite it will quite change things. Some new stuff and new creativity doors will open to these.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly and gradually, what I believe right now is that things are getting merged. Processing powers and like the CPU power and GPU powers are kind of like going in a parallel at this stage. But in future, I believe they will be merged. So your graphic card maybe will be your processor. Like who knows? Like maybe
Yeah.
this can be happening. Like
Mm-hmm.
graphic card is also your processor. So
Mm-hmm.
your processor is also your graphic card. So there is, no need of having a huge machines or that, big casing or something.
Mm. No, it's a fair assumption, um, but I don't know. Like because of how the market is, I think each company or each corporation will try to capitalize on selling their product rather than maybe they will try basically to explore new markets and actually incorporate CPUs into GPUs at some point. That's a good assumption from my opinion.
I
Um,
think that thing will remain, because yeah, they at some stage maybe uh, they might not want to merge it so that they can have their own shares
mhm.
also. So that's like one thing, but there is a possibility. As you know, maybe you have heard about the modular PC systems,
Mhm.
which they introduced, but it couldn't work out. The reason was that no, like there was no market for it. Like suppose if you don't have a good processor, so you can buy an external, processor boosting, a booster. You can connect to the PC,
Mhm.
but that didn't work out. The sale of that was not worth it. First of all, it was really expensive, and not so many people were into it. Like they
Mhm.
didn't want to try this new modular system.
Yeah, I mean it's the same with every new technology, Zashan. Anything
Mm.
that's newly produced, you basically you'll just wait until somebody reviews it for you. Somebody puts the pros and cons out in place. Like the best example, and I'm kind of jumping from the gaming industry right now, is Elon Musk's latest announcement about the Neuralink
Yeah.
device, And I looked at that, and I was like, and I remembered back in the day when they released the iPhone, and I was like, okay, this is nobody's gonna buy that. Like, who in their right mind is gonna pay this much to have that kind of device? And now everybody almost has an iPhone, right? But yeah, Neuralink is kind of pushing it a bit, and like, we're gonna make a hole in your skull and put a chip in you, and you're gonna have like, the only advantage of it, in my opinion, is basically you're gonna listen to music in your own head, and I'm like, okay, that's not worth a hole in my head. But yeah, that's totally beside the topic. Um, Coming back to you, Zishan, with all this wealth and knowledge in the 3D design, um, I also noticed that you've made 4 movies. I think you've made more movies than that, but like 4 main feature movies, I would say. Is that correct?
Yeah, 4 movies that were released in the cinemas in Bahrain.
Awesome. Um, was 3D modeling part of those movies, or were they just a pursuit of filmmaking aside from
Yeah,
3D
there were.
modeling?
We had like how it started was that I had a course in NYIT when I was teaching there, so that
Mm-hmm.
was an open course. So I discussed with my head of the department, my coordinator. I said, like, I want to start a visual effects. Or nobody teaches visual effects here in Bahrain. So there is this open course, which is, it was like an elective, open elective course. You can teach anything there,
I
but
see.
which is worth a market. So I said, okay, let's teach visual effects.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of giving them a small project, I decided to, ask the students to create a movie based on a story. But the main thing is that the movie story should be in a way that you can use visual effects in that.
Mm-hmm.
So they used 3D modeling for some parts, and also After Effects. Like most of the parts were After Effects. So it was, I think, in 2007, we made a movie called Paranorma.
Mm-hmm.
It was a horror movie, but it was basically not a mainstream movie which was in in the cinema. It was showcased in NYT campus itself.
Mm-hmm.
So because 2007, as you can say, visual effects was not that common. Like social media was not that common.
Yeah.
So when people came to see the movie, they were like surprised. Like students can do these kind of things. That's good. So that quite gave a good like it was a, we received a good feedback. So the NYT heads and people in New York themselves, they encouraged me to continue this. So
Mm-hmm.
next year, what we did, we made a movie. Again, we involved a lot of 3D, animation process, visual effects process in that.
Mm-hmm.
So the main goal was that because we were not a filming school, we were our program was based on computer graphics. So
Mm-hmm.
main focus was on computer graphics, how to use computer graphics in films. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
we have to come up with a story which is based on computer graphics. So again, we made a movie, action movie. We have a car chase scene. We had a car flip scene, in which we use a 3D model car, and we try to achieve a result where the car flips and there is a blast going on. So these kind of things we did in the second movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then Bahrain Seneco, they really helped us and they like supported us. So they
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, as you are students, we will not charge you anything, and we will play your movie in the cinema
Mm-hmm.
without any charge. So we did that, and we gave them like a bit of like an initiative. We said that, okay, what we will do is that we will sell tickets, but whatever outcome we will get, we will give it to the charity under your name and under NYT. So they agreed that, and then they asked us to do another movie next year. So that's how, when I was in NYIT, every year we were making like this course become like really, like kind of,
Make your
you
movie
can say,
course, basically.
yeah, it became
That's
a movie course and continued.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. That's pretty
so
awesome.
one of our graduates, 2 or 3 graduates, they started red carpet in Bahrain.
Mm-hmm.
So that red carpet was a like a, you can say, a talent show which showcases films.
Mm-hmm.
So those students started the red carpet, which became quite famous. Uh,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Actually, the initiative was adopted by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and it's done annually now. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
it's pretty interesting to see how the ripple effect of some projects build up some other stuff along the way. Really inspiring. Um, all right. So moving from movies, as a 3D artist, what do you think about the video gaming industry in the Middle East? I know that you haven't designed video games, but since you are a 3D modeler and you are sort of looking at potential opportunities around you, do you see any? What are the advantages and disadvantages that you see that are happening around?
Uh, I think like when I was involved in the one of the first game jams, and
Mm-hmm.
I participated as a creative artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I was quite surprised by seeing very young people, especially girls, because if we talk about the video games,
Mm-hmm.
so it's quite we become a little bit maybe girls don't play games, but there are
Mm-hmm.
quite good the female programmers there, and everything was full of surprise when I went to the first game jam. So I think there is a good potential here,
Mm-hmm.
and the first game jam which I joined was the GCC game jam. So people
Mm-hmm.
are from all around the Gulf countries were there, from Saudi also, and from other places too. So I see good potential, and uh, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure if they have reached to the international market, if they have made any game which they
Mm-hmm.
have uh, like any independent game, or if there is any independent studio which is doing games right now for any console,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe for the PC gaming. So, but things should be pushed, and these kinds of events are which you are doing is a really good thing, especially in this situation where we cannot go and participate right now. Things are still going on. Things are still online. We are doing so that we are still in that process, which is keep on going. So this
I
is
would like to add one more thing to this. Um, we Are you familiar with the monthly challenges?
yeah, yeah, on the Unreal, yes, I have been
Yep.
following that.
And basically, what we're trying to do is to have people go into the habit of creating content, with a certain purpose. And with the game jam that's coming up, actually, we're headed towards the direction of making it virtual. So,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's good to keep everything alive. It's a good initiative, and then uh, things like this should be more promoted. And
Okay, so
you
towards the end of this, is there a hackathon for for directors like yourself, or film enthusiasts?
The thing is there are festivals, because to make a movie it takes a lot, if you want to make a short movie like 5 minutes movie, still if it is a 5 minute movie it takes a lot of time to uh, you know direct the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So making putting this into a hackathon sort of festival, it is quite not possible, because you know uh, if they have their own equipment, then it's fine. So we can do short films. You can give them 3 days or something like that, and then they can do that. It is quite possible, but as compared to the gaming industry, the film industry right now in the Gulf is not that strong.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you will see in Dubai have their own studios, but they don't make their own a lot of movies, because there is no you can say audience for that. There is no scaling of that, because the movies that we did over here in Bahrain, there is a quite gap. People still right now at this stage, they are more into international movies. So it will in future will take time if this thing will continue. But unfortunately, I didn't got time to continue this because the university which was supporting me uh, was closed in 2011. So when I moved to the new university, so they don't have such thing as filmmaking or promoting filmmakers. So I had to stop because without any support, it's quite hard to do that. So I think it's a good idea to start a hackathon for the filmmakers, but we need a lot of support. Just like I'm glad that the gamers right now they have like quite good support, like people like you who are supporting, who are pushing, and they are also interested because you have to be interested too if you want to participate in such things. So like the
That's
main point.
actually this brings into a very good, conversation opener in terms of ecosystems. I mean, especially in the movies industries, the VFX industries, you have a lot of jobs that deal in those types of industries. I mean, when you go to Hollywood, Bollywood, even in France, you have ecosystems that are set up to actually encourage those types of skills to be used, and to create movies, to create VFX for movies and stuff like that. So what would be the components that are missing in the Gulf, and where would we find them? Would it be in Kuwait? Would it be in Saudi? Would it be in UAE? Would it be in Bahrain? Would it be in Oman? What are your thoughts and opinions on those?
Well, if we want to start something like based on the visual effects technology or any technology or even the filmmaking, this can be started from anywhere. It can be started from Kuwait or Dubai or Saudi. So, uh, but what we need first thing is that first of all awareness. People are aware and interest in the youth. So if youth are interested, so definitely this can be like we can have a good engagement. So recently, just for an example, I was looking at I was watching one advertisement on the television.
Mm-hmm.
They made a small scene which was about, I think it was a music video or maybe it was like a drama, like a TV series. But I didn't saw like I was not able to watch the full thing. It was about Kulthum, who she is a legendary singer.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was that a 3D artist, he did like a her model which exactly looks like her, and they showed that she is coming to sing a song on the stage or something like that. So that was quite surprised. So I thought they made they brought up a like they brought up like a kind of a like a duplicate artist, maybe a doppelganger who looks like her. But when I have some like 3D modeling groups on Facebook. I was going through them. So one of the group members there, he posted his recent work, and that was all 3D model and animated, which I thought is real, you know. So these kind of things should be pushed, like movies like Avatar, movies like Irishman, they heavily involve 3D modeling and animation, which nobody knows it's happening because it's so real in the movie. So if this thing can, and this was for I think like a Arabic channel, like a TV channel. I think it was for MBC4. So if this
Mhm.
can be done, so it can be it can be brought into Bahrain also. It can be brought into UAE also, and it can start with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's very interesting.
that's pretty cool.
Uh,
I made a poll to the chat and asked them to basically, answer a question. What do you think about the video game industry in the Middle East? Two said it exists, and one said, I know a few developers. Which kind of tells you what state are we in when it comes to video games. I'm just, like, my question to professionals like you, Zishan, and people who work in the industry, what is the next step? Like, you do have the talent, You do have the, you know, you. I would say there are storytellers. We have all of that. What does it take to bring all of that together? Since you've made movies, you've established projects. What's your opinion on that?
I think there there should be if I'm not sure if there is any like independent game release in Bahrain which have went to the mainstream. So if they all can meet up and make a game, come up with it, like a game that can become trending.
Mm-hmm.
At least try, because who knows? Angry Birds was just a tryout, and then it became a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Fall Guys is in front of you,
Yep.
so come up with an idea and at least try to reach to the mainstream market. Maybe in 1 year they will not reach. Maybe second year they will reach. Then there will be some time that they will be reaching in that point.
Mm-hmm.
So once they are on the map, so things will start becoming, more easier, opening doors for them.
Mm-hmm.
And what like Unreal Bahrain is doing right now, and other people are doing, it's great stuff which keeps alive and then involving them. But I think at right now we really want to jump, to try out to do something in the
Mm.
market to
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you. One of the things that I find actually defines successful game developers and how do they actually succeed, how do they actually release a product is passion. You have someone who is like Jonathan Blow, who actually loves creating video games. Okay, he did that amazing game called Braid. Have you played it?
I haven't heard of it.
I don't know yet.
Oh, come on. It actually won awards and did amazing things. Basically, it started off as a Mario clone with the ability to turn back time. Okay.
The
But
Prince
it,
of Persia of Mario, is that it?
yes, the Prince of Persia of Mario. So, what was really interesting about it was the guy did it on his own, Jonathan Blow, and then he created The Witness. Then you also have someone like the guy that did Stardew Valley. Do you remember the name of the guy?
Nope.
Stardew Valley, Eric Braun. Okay,
Mhm.
Eric Braun, the guy basically did an entire game on his own over 5 years. Okay, he created a community around it, and he did a lot of things behind, just to make it work. And I think the main driver behind him was passion. Now, talking about things that are also beyond passion, we have the talents, we have the skills, but we have a direction that's a little bit dispersed. We have people that like Zishan,
Mhm.
amazing talent. Okay, and honestly, the guy, you should listen to him when he teaches. He teaches with passion. Okay, and again, you need funding for these people to create to bring out their full potential.
Mhm.
And I think passion and funding for the right people
Mhm.
and proper management skills will actually help in moving forward. And I don't know, what do you think about these points, Ishandi? I mean, it's you're the
I
expert
think
here.
you are absolutely right about that, and it's all about passion. Like, if suppose if I'm a like a 2D artist,
Mhm.
okay, and somebody comes to me and say, okay, can you work with the gaming artist, like like game developers, so in the creative part. So now I'm a 2D artist, but I'm going for the print media, but I'm not interested in gaming. So I will not have that bond with those game
Yes.
developers.
Mhm.
But if I have a passion for video games, then even if I'm a 2D artist or any other artist, I will find my way to get that bond more and more stronger. So passion is really important over here. And passion doesn't mean that you have to be a developer. You can, you can find your own way to make a bond with the developers themselves.
Yeah.
So you're
Mhm.
right about that piece.
That's very cool. I'm gonna shift gears here and ask this question because we had a small conversation before we started the stream, and I wanted to hear everybody's thought on this. Since Zishan is actually a lecturer at UOB, um, during um, the when the pandemic started, or basically during the time of the pandemic, do you think the creative process or creativity has boosted up, or has it been affected by the pandemic situation?
Uh, I think like one of the good things that happened during the pandemic was that uh, students nowadays they are getting time to search more things on internet because when things are on their normal pace, so we don't look into that part. So we are you know involved in going outside and meeting with friends and things. But when we are shackled or when we are in home and we cannot go out, during the first few months we were like we were really like have like at that point the things were more much worth compared to right now. So I find it like the that was a good thing because what I myself did was that I went on different websites and start researching, and I find that so many of my other students were doing the same, and they
Mm-hmm.
started to share things with me that they are trying to learn this now, learn that now. So they they got a chance to polish their skill, which gave me an idea to why not to start like a YouTube channel where I can teach during this time. So I started like a YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/c slash Z interactive. Z like a Z
Mm-hmm.
letter and interactive.
Yeah.
So I'm uploading a lot of like tutorials over there, complete courses, like the one that you don't find for free online. You have to pay for that. But what I'm doing is that I'm trying to make it reachable to everyone. So it's in English, so everyone can understand it, and all the exercise files, everything I am uploading. So it's like a complete course. Like you are taking a complete course online, starting from class one to class 18 or something. So I started with the Maya. Maya is a very, you can say like a famous, like industry, industrial based software. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
animation industry based software. So I started with that, and I completed the whole course. If you can find it on that channel, and also now I have started with 3D Studio Max, which is currently I'm on lesson 8 right now. I uploaded lesson 8, I think yesterday. So
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of plans. Like I will be moving to Substance Painter, and I will be moving to like moving from like a 3D application, how to move things from 3D application to gaming engine, Unreal or Unity, or and then how you can make a small games. Like suppose if you're not a developer, you don't know anything about computer programming, how you can make games. These kind of things I will be uploading, like the tutorials. Also, hyper realistic, how you can make hyper realistic models, characters.
Mm-hmm.
So these kind of things I will be uploading there, and uh, this is all I got chance to research during this, like pandemic situation, whatever happened, because uh, I was not going outside, and most of the time I was spending. So I tried to polish my skill as well, and also try to create tutorials and everything, so other can get the benefit out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I'm sure like a lot of people took this opportunity to sort of explore what's out there for them, or the things that they didn't have the time to do before, and now they got the chance to do that. I have Zain Shah in the chat, says you are the best professor ever. So you still have fans in the chat over here. And for the poll, two people have answered yes. I totally agree. this pandemic did give us the chance to sort of like either hone skills that we already have, or look into new skills that we can develop throughout the extra time that we have. Unfortunately, like I haven't seen any of my friends for the past couple of months. Um, sometimes I think about it and I'm like, okay, the past couple of years might have been fiction. It might have been like a book that was written and closed, and now I have to wake up and these people don't exist anymore. Um, but yeah, I'm just wondering like how, like, since we have all this time now and we can explore and we can like there's a space to think. I don't know what's gonna happen when we actually go back to normal. Do you think that will affect us negatively?
Uh, I don't think negatively, but we will be used to teamwork based on online. Like things will be because meeting up. This is what we right now want. We are dying to do that. Like
Mm-hmm.
we want to meet our friends. Things we want our normal life back.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole process, meeting people online and working online in a team, like this thing we will adopt that because this usually exists before, but nobody was embracing that at the in the previous.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, in UOB when I was teaching, in UCB when I'm teaching, they already had these systems like Blackboard or Microsoft Teams from
Mm-hmm.
very long time, but they never used that. So when we moved to this situation, okay, so we had to use it because there was no any other option.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, myself, I've never used it, okay, but when I started to use, I was surprised, like, okay, we can do this, we can do that with this, okay, so this has these features. So I was quite surprised. Now, I think people will be used to it, so things will hopefully will get, you know, uh, back to normal. But this gap that we had before will, in a good way, it will start, filling it up. Like we might have now chance to work virtually with teams abroad, and these kind, or even in the Gulf we can meet up. So distance might come, more and more, closer. So we will not have more forever distance anymore.
That's very good. Any final words you would like to share with the audience in the chat, Zishan, before we move to our news and highlights segment?
Uh, One thing I really want to share is that always stay connected to whatever is happening, around the world. Because this is what I have seen, that uh, when you are following any trend, so what happens is that you are stuck to it, but you are stuck to it for a period of time which it does not require. So while you come out of it, you see that something new is there. So what happens that you don't get chance to invent anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you will be keep on reinventing the wheel, or you will be keep on reinventing something which is already there, because you are stuck there for a quite number of like longer time. So uh, try to take out some time to think out of the box, and don't try to stick to something for like for long time.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, this is like my quite advice. Try to think and try to make new things, and try to make, invent rather than reinventing. Reinventing is not negative, but invention, is, you can say, like what people need right now to fill up
Mm-hmm.
those gaps. We need, we need that, whether it is a gaming industry or film industry or any other industry.
Mm-hmm.
So try to help the community, the people, and that's how you will do it with the invention.
Great. Thank you so much, Zishan. We had a
You're
great
welcome.
interview. Yusuf Baza has some questions. Go ahead, Yusuf.
So basically, Sean, what I really wanted to ask you is, what's coming up next to you. I mean, you went through this pandemic. You basically so far were surviving 2020. September, seems like okay, we're very close to the finish line. From a creative perspective, what do you think you'll be getting out of 2020, and what are the projects that you want to do? And do you think we'll be seeing 2021? Because there's a theory that's going on that 2012 was supposed to be 2021, but they just saw the 1 and 2 switched.
Yeah, I hope that switching might not happen.
Yeah.
So maybe like the thing is at this stage, what I have gained from this the period of time is that I got chance to work on the application, the software which I never worked on it, and I learned those during this time. And there is one thing I want to like as an advice to the youngsters who are learning, because I myself is a learner, so on daily basis I'm learning. But first you have to learn how to learn, because most of the people they lack this thing. They start learning without knowing how to learn. So this is something which I really like focused like during this time. Before, I used to open up applications and start to learn them, but then sometimes I give up because I was not able to do that. But during this time, one thing I really focused was how I can start learning this. If I'm working on 3D Studio Max, how I can switch from 3D Studio Max to Maya, and how I can learn that. So there is like like process of learning also. Like first you have to know like breaking that up and then learning. So I guess by the 2021 will be here. Hopefully everything is by that time goes smoothly and no Mayan calendar myth happens. So at the time I guess I will have number of application software and skills on my CV, and I don't want that to be only on my side. So that's why I started this YouTube channel, so that what I'm learning I can teach others as well. And
Mhm.
this time the reason I started the YouTube channel is I don't want it to be only you know bounded to my students in my university. I wanted to spread it out to the whole world. So that's why like I started the YouTube channel, because it's
To be-
more fun
I,
and I feel
I,
beneficial.
I've seen some of your tutorials. They're really amazing, and honestly, they're quite a valuable resource to anybody that wants to learn. Uh, Anything we can do to help you and support you, just let us know.
Okay, just I will be very glad if you can spread out the word so that everyone can gain knowledge for it.
All right.
A lot of people, when I started this channel, a lot of people told me like, why don't you go to any paid website where people can pay you to like pay over there. You can get some money
Get
out of it. So
compensated
I
for it,
didn't want
yeah.
it to do that,
Mm-hmm.
because the thing is that uh, suppose a person who is a really talented, but his drawback is that he cannot pay. So want to help those kind of people as well. So I don't want it to be something uh, like like bounded or restricted to a particular audience. I want it to be open. So that's why I did it, and I will be very glad if you can spread out this message and help others to see my channel and
You can count on us on that point.
thank you.
Definitely. All right. So we're gonna move out to new the weekly news and highlights section. And, the first item of business is actually the summer the summer games done quick raised 2.3 million for Doctors Without Borders. I think I skipped the link somewhere. Let me just open it real quick. So for those who don't know, GDQ is a Twitch channel that basically um, does this and that has this initiative that they do every year for two times a year nonstop, and it's an event for a week for 24 hours. They basically get in speed run video games for charity. If you like certain games and you want to see them be broken or like find the glitches in those games, it's a really fun way to look at it. And I've actually attended some of the sessions that they had on the Summer Game Fest, and honestly, I really commend them for their efforts. They have done a really great job, and they supported Doctors Without Borders in this critical time that we're in. I don't know, Zishan, did you know about the Games Done Quick initiative?
Uh, no, this is the first time I'm reading about it, but I think it's a good initiative
Mm-hmm.
because as I said right now, the things are now moving out of the borders, like to make distances, you know, like to vanish all the distances, things should become closer.
Mm-hmm.
This have taught us something, which I think now you can see that reflection in any industry, and in gaming industry they're quite adapting to it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on to game developer news. Skullgirl publisher. I'm sure you guys know what Skullgirl is. It's a fighting game, as in like Street Fighter, but think about it on the mobile version of Street Fighter, but in a girly, cartoony kind of way. So,
Actually, there's a console version, a PC version of it.
oh,
It's yeah. Actually, Skullgirls has been hailed as one of the best and smoothest 2D animated fighters of its time. Uh, Honestly, and the mobile version was actually also interesting.
mm-hmm. That's. I didn't know that was on console. I only thought it was on mobile. So the publisher of Skullgirl basically kicks out the studio that's working on the project for a number of reasons. Mainly because the management of the studio, Lab Zero, was being uncooperative and being, um, you know, not adherent to certain basic human decencies, I would say. So there was a harassment case in the company, and the studio failed to basically take action. In fact, they actually made the matter worse. So what happened is the publisher, who's basically Autumn Games, I think, and Hidden Vulnerability, Hidden Variable. Um, they basically issued a statement to basically cut off Lab Zero off the game, and I don't know what's gonna happen to the game moving forward. Honestly, like I haven't seen this in recent history, because like when a publisher says, okay, you're doing bad stuff, you can't, we're gonna cut you off. What happens to the game? The game gets no updates, especially in an online format. Like you need a team that releases patches like in regular periods, so the game stays relevant. I don't know, Yousef, what do you think?
Well, one of the most defining features of you know the new generation of games that have been enabled by the internet
Mm-hmm.
is that you get constant support, and when you get constant support, you keep that game alive for a longer period of time. So a good example would be the Call of Duty games. I mean, the game has
Mm-hmm.
online features. There are constant updates, okay, and those updates just come in and basically keep the game alive. You're
Mm-hmm.
adding more levels, you're adding more things, and the moment that you stop updating those games, is the moment where you find that your user base will see a decline, and that's the theory behind it, anyways. So, so for this type of game, I mean, if there's no replacement to continue and to keep the game alive, then it might be an issue. If they have the systems right and they're just gonna be playing the game based on seasons, then you're in the right direction.
Yeah, I think because they're thinking about the next version, which is or the next addition to the series, Skullgirls 2. The publisher, sorry, feels quite confident that they're gonna deliver a second one next year, but with the base developer gone, I don't know how feasible that is.
I think in yeah, if you go back again to the Call of Duty thing, is that there was a game studio called Infinite World, okay, and there were two amazing people behind it, Big Zampala and I forgot the name of the other guy, Zach something. So these guys were the heart of soul of Call of Duty, and they actually popularized Call of Duty with the Modern Warfare series. Due to a conflict of, let's say, due to certain conflicts, Vic and Zach left Activision and left Infinity Ward, and they opened up their own studio that actually created Titanfall. I think their name was Respawn Studios.
Yep.
So when they did that, a new team took over Infinity Ward and Activision, and the next Call of Duty games were never on par with those things. I think if you remove the visionary people from the product, you lose it. It doesn't contain the same soul it had, and I think this is also true in the movie industry. I don't know, Zishan, if you can actually cooperate on that. How many movies have actually got ruined because of a change of a director or a change of vision behind it?
Yeah, it's negatively affects a lot, especially in this happens in the television series a lot. So because those series they run for 10 years, 12 years sometimes. So if in between something happens, and maybe because of these kind of issues that happened with the Skullgirl like publisher, or something natural happens, so it negatively affects a lot. So there's like suppose that a television series is running out, they like an actor. Okay. So what if that actors we don't want to play anymore, and something happens or something, so they changes that. So the interest of the people, or you can say the fan base loyalty affects a lot, and then they lose interest. So I'm not sure if now if the Skullgirls publishers have if they are changed, and if they are promising for a new season that it will be with the same pace, or it will be better, or if they start this, if they move through it, and what if it doesn't work or impact in that way which they used to do before. The players they will start losing the interest. Or maybe just starting from this point, maybe if they might have heard the news now, so you can see maybe the effects will from now. So these things bring a lot of negative changes, and not always, but there are some positive changes as well. I remember there used to be a TV series when I was a kid. I used to watch that. If you know about it, was called Misfits of Science. So Misfits of Science was like six people. They used to have they had superpowers. So in the middle they changed after few seasons they changed one actor, but the new actor was much more better than who was who used to play before. So uh, like that was a positive change. So sometimes positive change happens, but rarely.
Mm-hmm.
But like mainly it's like that. So I'm not sure about because Stargirls is a game, so you don't see your actors in front. It's all about process of how the games are being organized or published or
Mm-hmm.
those kind of thing at the back end. So it
Yeah, the
will
thing
be
the
But
thing is, this is a fighting game, Zishan, like Street Fighter. So the game revolves about other players fighting or like playing with each other. So if a game that depends on this kind of interaction has its, has the studio that's working on it basically hacked off the project, and there are no updates, no place to give feedback to, apart from the publisher. Um, which and the publisher has a different set of rules in this game that's called the video game industry, right? So like it kind of leaves the community that's built around this game kind of in an empty space where like okay,
yeah.
so apparently the franchise is like it's not gonna have the same feeling as you just said. It's not gonna have the same
so,
formula.
so let me just try to make this a little bit more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Zishan, you mentioned that you owned a PlayStation 1.
Yes.
Did you play Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, that was the first thing that I played
Okay.
on the PS1.
So, Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, 3 were all made by Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Later on, after the uh, problems that Naughty Dog faced with Universal Studios, they were they had a tough decision whether they leave an IP that they created or take a risk and create a new IP and become an independent studio with the backing of Sony.
Yeah.
So when they left, Universal Studios was kept with they obtained the Crash Bandicoot license, and they were just like saying, "Yeah, we have an IP that can't lose." Then the next Crash games did not succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, the more games they released with Crash, the less value it had from as an IP. So that went into limbo until they decided to do a revival. And when they revived the Crash series again, they went back with the Naughty Dog formula. So the moral of the story is, see, even if you change directors, if you remove a game, if the creative visionaries that are not there behind it, those people will not look at a game as a production factory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they understand that games is a creative process, and with creative processes, they need to take certain liberties. They need to be innovative. They need to understand that, okay, since I made the character jump, how can I make him look better? Do I need to tweak the jump a little bit? Do I need to adjust the animation? Do I need to do this? And that type of thinking doesn't just come from, doesn't come from anyone. You either are born with it or you go through a lot just to learn it. And even if they stopped, for Skullgirls, even if that thing has been gone, then that's actually quite that that's actually quite a predicament. Will the new team be as good as the first team? So that's I think my 2 cents on this on the matter.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate, but what can you do? Moving on. No. So we have Deep Silver, parent company, Coach Media opens 2 publishing. Sorry, it's offices in Asia. Okay, where can I find the link now? Yani, I made sure that I opened all the links, but didn't open here as well. Okay, here we go. Can you? Yeah. All right. So Deep Silver, as most of us know, are the publishers of very famous games. Metro is published by Deep Silver. If you guys played Outward, is published by Deep Silver. Vampire is published by Focus, I think, or I'm not sure. I thought Vampire was published by Deep Silver, but anyway, um, it shows that this publisher, who is up and coming in terms of publishing, AAA video games, is planning something in the Far East region. So I don't know. What do you think, Yousef? Do you think we're gonna see new IPs out of Deep Silver that touches the Far East culture?
Oh, definitely, definitely. See, the Asian market is going through a huge change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that you know about the Indian game called Ravi.
Raji.
Okay, Raji. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
that's coming up. I'm sure you know. I mean, last time we talked about Wukong, which is a game made by a Chinese developer, which
Mm-hmm.
was honestly on par with any AAA studio out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that Deep Silver did not go and open up an office there unless they saw an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's a different market that, let's be frank, we don't have access to. I mean, if I knew Chinese, I would know a lot more about the Chinese gaming market. But since it's a publisher that will provide information and content in English, and since the Asian market constitutes at the moment around 56% of the entire gaming industry's
Mm-hmm.
revenue, I'm sure there are a lot of hidden gems there that we're unaware of. I mean, even the Japanese games that we claim to be more familiar with, we don't get every release.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
I mean, we do get releases maybe 7 or 8 years after the fact that the game has been released. So I think, and THQ, by the way, THQ Nordic is very smart in their moves. I mean, they a fun fact that I learned only last week.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played the game Darksiders,
Of
or
course.
have you heard about it?
I love Darksiders, yeah.
All right. Did you know that Darksiders and another 150 games were part of THQ, right?
Yep.
All right. They lost a lot of funding, and they went bankrupt. So their entire IP was being sold in an auction.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much THQ was sold for? And how much did Nordic Games buy THQ for?
I think peanuts, ده بصراحة, from what I remember.
It is, but I want a number. Zishan, Ali.
I remember it was a small number compared to the number of IPs that they had.
Yep.
I would say around like $800,000 to $500,000.
No, alhamdulillah. 4.5 million.
Okay, good.
Okay, that IP today is worth more than 200 million. Okay, alone. So what happened here is THQ, Nordic Games, to be honest, knows exactly how to maneuver in the gaming industry. And when they bought up THQ, they also realized that THQ by itself is a brand. So they rebranded themselves with THQ Nordic. And they bought up Koch Media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I thought Koch bought up THQ Nordic. Wasn't that the case?
Nope.
Because Koch
It
is
was
the parent company, though.
No, it was, Koch it's the parent company. No. Koch is the publishing arm of THQ Nordic.
Oh, okay.
Is one of the publishing arms that is there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically, this was, I think, in 2018. They bought it up for almost 150 million.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, and a lot of the reason behind that is to also acquire the IPs that Koch had. I mean, Metro and Saints Row were actually good IPs at that time.
Mm-hmm. There still
And they
are.
remained the right.
There still
Yeah.
are. Yeah. They're timeless IPs, I would say. Yani,
Yeah.
Metro is definitely one of the games. Yani, the team has. You can see the effort that's put in the game. I mean, you can see that they're moving in a good direction. I mean, they're trying to explore new markets. بس يعني what concerns me about such moves, Yousef, is about like do they think that there's nothing in the current market that they have to like go and put a foot in the Asian market now?
I think they've explored the European and US markets,
Mm-hmm.
and they're expanding towards the Asian market, which is to them is a new horizon, an unexplored territory.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a good example would be is that there is a wall, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and people on both sides of the wall believe that there's nothing behind it, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you come to hear noise happening behind that wall, so you take a peek and it's a different world, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's about media, it's about knowing what's there, and if it's actually worth it to go and open up. And Hong Kong is a kind of a little bit in a political spot,
Mm-hmm.
because the controversy that's going between it and China, and they want to bring it in. And but opening in Hong Kong and opening in Tokyo is a big move, and towards entering the Asian market. And I think we'll be seeing the fruits of those moves, in 2 years, by 2022, if we survive. I mean, till then. So
Yeah, I think I'm gonna add a section for conspiracy theories to the show. Like, it's one of those things that we need to bring up. Um,
we
so,
need to have Mel Gibson, I know, just
I,
as a
yeah, the director, I guess. Moving on, Indian Chronicles by Sudoku creators ended their Kickstarter campaign with a successful $4.5 million. I don't know if you saw the trailer for this, Zishan. It is it is a pixel art game, okay, by
Yeah, I've seen the trailer.
yeah, and like me and Yusuf saw it a couple of weeks ago, and while it was during their Kickstarter campaign, and we were like, okay, this is gonna be huge because, yeah, apart from what the game offers, which is 100 heroes to play with within the game, um, they are the creators of Sudoku. Like I don't know if you played Sudoku, but I really have high hopes for this project, and I think they've met all of their goals from the funding
mm,
from the funding cycle. You have the hero mode, you have the Fortress Town asset pack, Battle Defense mode, and another story, DLC story side to it. So this could be a good thing. Um, I'm I'm excited for it because the art style of having pixelated 2D in a 3D kind of twist is actually very very eye pleasing, I would say.
I remember, like, I used to play a game on Nintendo when the games used to be 8-bit. So there was a game known as Battletoads.
oh,
Yep,
So
Battletoads. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it was more like at that time I feel like there is a something like fishy about it. Basically, it was not something fishy. It was like they had a like a blend of 3D, they like in a 2D world.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite like something like a twist. So I always feel like there is something different about it. Maybe if you have noticed that too or not. But if you will play it now, you might see that there is a little bit 3D twist in a 2D,
Mm-hmm.
like especially in the 8-bit.
Yeah. Um, well, I really wish these guys all the best, and I'm looking forward to a game that's made out of passion. So, moving on. Ubisoft temporarily suggests no PS1, PS2, and PS3 backward compatibility for PS5. Um, my opinion about this is basically Ubisoft is trying to keep the old IPs and try to strategize a way to monetize on their IPs instead of trying to make them compatible right away to PS5. Um, but what do you think, Yousef? Do you think this is a smart move, or do you think this is a dumb move?
Oh, well, honestly, it's the ball is in Ubisoft's court on this one. And I'll be frank with you. I mean, Ubisoft will go into the direction of re-releasing their titles, and the Ezio collection, for example, was an amazing PlayStation 3 experience. Okay, for Assassin's Creed, and with them doing it justice and releasing it on the PlayStation 4, it allowed me to re-experience that amazing game. The problem is, I think, even if they're gonna sell these games again, okay, there is the notion of remasters versus remakes, okay, and honestly, after seeing what Capcom has done, which is actually quite shocking, as Capcom has been known to take shortcuts when it comes to releasing their games. They released amazing remakes of Resident Evil 2, which we saw earlier. They did Resident Evil 3. I mean, although people did not respond so well with that, but it was also an amazing game by my standards.
Visually, yes, but cutting corners in a game like that makes fans really furious. Like they dropped the whole boss fight out of the game. Yani,
did you play through the entire game?
Yes, I did.
Trust me, I would not have missed that boss fight. It was basically, I always considered Resident Evil 3, even in the PlayStation 1 era, as a DLC for PlayStation for Resident Evil 2. So that was something. So going, at least making it relatable to the movie industry. Lucasfilm is quite infamous with their Star Wars remasters and re-releases, where they just constantly update the released version by either adding better graphics, some scenes here and there that were cut off. And I think, when you go to movies like Lord of the Rings, where you have the original run of every movie going anywhere between 3 hours and much, I went ahead and bought the extended editions of all the movies, and I found out new things that I did not know there. That I was just wondering, why did they cut that content? So when you come and say, okay, I'm not gonna allow backwards compatibility, basically saying that there is nothing technologically stopping me from allowing you to play my PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4 titles on the new PlayStation 5. It does make the fans a little bit upset, okay? But if you're gonna say that I'm gonna remaster these things and give them to you in a better form, then fans might be going, they might accept it, especially if they're gonna sell it at least a discount rate, $20. Unlike Nintendo, which they just sell games $60, no matter what generation it came from.
Yeah. Well,
so I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's a strategy move. It's like, okay, wait, let us assess the situation. We're gonna see what's gonna happen then. All right. Moving forward, this is news about Facebook and them rebranding their Oculus business, I would say, to Facebook Connect. I've talked with you, Yousef, about this in the last stream. The only thing that I can see that is bad is basically having Facebook to have access to your VR experiences moving forward. Like, you'll have to have a Facebook account to actually, access this technology. So I do see a very negative point over here. Like imagine everything that you're gonna be consuming by VR is already pre-rendered through Facebook, and based on that, they're gonna tailor ads and tailor stuff to you through that experience. So that experience will not be VR anymore. It's gonna be an ad machine in your face. You know.
Mm.
So what do you think about it? And I don't know, Zishan, what do you think about this kind of move as a creative?
Oh, well, I'll talk about the brand rebranding,
Mm-hmm.
the branding perspective. When the VR became like a hype, so Oculus was one of the most trending, brand at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about VR, so the first brand that comes in the mind is then maybe we have the HTC Vive and then other things.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are completely rebranding it, like opting out, or maybe like changing the complete name from Oculus to Facebook Connect,
Mm-hmm.
so that charm I think will be not there. And as you said, it will be something like a social media connected on our face from all the sides. It's just like that, like
Mm-hmm.
it's not that Oculus that we used to have. So it will be like it will be like a social like media all
Mm-hmm.
around it, something like that.
What do you think, Yusuf?
Honestly, I agree with Zishan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a move to make social media stuck to your face. Um, the other news that's related to this rebrand is Facebook renames its AR VR Studio Collective to Facebook Reality Labs. I think we've seen the logo just over here. So they're basically changing two of their current business model, the business two businesses that already exist, and they're just kind of putting them together. So their AR VR division and their Oculus division merged into one, and it's Facebook Reality Labs now. Moving to one of the most controversial things we have heard about in the recent times, the Apple versus the Epic Games court case. Um, I'm gonna go quick through our 5 articles that were published in the past 2 weeks just to gain a bit of momentum on it and see what happened, and we can discuss what do you think is gonna happen on the next court hearing, which is on September 29th. So Apple has basically terminated the Epic Games App Store account. But that happened after a number of things that happened before it, which is where did it go? So, what happened? Just to recap the whole situation, um, Epic has basically asked their users to buy game credit through their website versus the Apple um, or through the app through Apple, and that was basically sort of they were taking a path out of the money line from Apple's side, and basically Apple had a 30% cut on every transaction that has to be done on the app. And basically, when Epic did that, they were in clear violation of the code of the terms and regulations of the App Store, and therefore Apple retaliated and decided to take it to a court case. Um, what happened is Apple tried to over-escalate the matter and says anything that's from Epic is gonna be cut off Apple moving forward. That includes their development kits for their softwares. And we all know that Epic Games is the owner of the Unreal Engine, which produces a lot of the games that we play. And Microsoft, on the other hand, just went in and issued a statement and said, "Hey, like, you can't basically cancel the dev kit for these people because they're developing it for our machines as well. So, like you basically can't do that." And the court heard sort of like that played a bit in the court appeal, which basically made the court order Apple not to block the Epic's Unreal Engine through their hardware or software as well. So we're currently at a point where Apple decided to just cancel Epic's Games App Store, just take it all off, and the main argument here is the 30% cut out of the transactions that Apple takes over any transaction that any app on the store makes. So Epic is basically making it change. They're trying to change the narrative in the industry where these two companies, basically Apple and Google, that currently have app stores and currently have they're the only stores that basically monopolize on all those softwares that go through mobile phones right nowadays. They established this 30% cut, and it's just fixed. So Epic is basically challenging this narrative and saying, "Hey, you're taking too much out of transactions. Just lower it." And Epic didn't specify a certain percentage from what I've read, but we are in the start of a war here. Like, that's what I'm seeing, and we're gonna know more by the 29th of September, because that's when the court hearing is gonna happen. But for now, a lot of interesting change of events, I would say, and I just hope we, Epic's point of view is we want to give more to developers and the consumers, but Apple's point of view is kind of relevant as well. It's like we kind of built this from the ground up, and we still have tech support. We still have expenses on our side. So I'm just wondering, what do you guys think in terms like, are you Epic or are you Apple?
I think, I think Zishan should at least go first, because I do have some points that might take some time.
Yeah, go ahead, Zishan.
Like if we see go through the history, I find, I don't know, Apple being if using an amateur word, Apple has been bullying like so many different companies.
Mm-hmm.
So here I find the case as similar, because 30% I think is quite a lot if we talk about, especially when the gaming industry is making a lot of money. So they know 30% means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is less, they can make a lot. But as you said, Apple do have some point that they have been supporting it from the day one, or I don't know, from them, and they made it they have raised. But I think you just can push something, and then let them on their own, instead of bullying that, or going a lot. And obviously, like Microsoft, they will jump in whenever there is something between Apple or any any other. So Microsoft have their own point of interest backing Epic Games. So this is my view.
Okay. Right. So the thing is, the 30% cut that developers lose to online markets is not just exclusive to Apple. Okay, when you go to Steam takes around 30% as the cut. When you go to PlayStation, Xbox, they do that. Google's doing the same. There's an agreed upon industry standard that 30% is what everybody should be taking when it comes to selling software in an online store. The reason behind it is there's a historical reason, which I believe I mentioned last last time we brought up the topic. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But it was basically that whenever you wanted to publish a game on a certain console, you needed to pay 10% royalties. So it's not only okay you're gonna sell the game, but also to play that game on that console, you need to pay 10% royalties of that fees. Um, and the 20% cost was actually also added because cartridges roughly cost around 20% of uh, the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
So they just bundled up things like that with 10% to the console fee, 20% for creating and packaging it, and they started selling, and thus are the presumed origins of the 30% cut on those marketplaces. What is really concerning here is when Apple just continues to grow as a company in terms of size and costs. I was surprised the other day when I found out that I think the iPhone 11 Pro 256 or 512
Yeah.
costed almost 700 BD. I was shocked. I mean, there's a limit to the amount of money that you're going to pay for a piece of technology,
Mm-hmm.
but not a phone. I mean, and the ecosystem that Apple has created around their devices is a closed ecosystem, meaning that the, if you wanna use our products, you cannot have additional products be used besides what we offer, and they have to, and any third-party product has to get their license through us. I mean, up till now, um, everything is transparent and clear. But the main problem and the main issue, and where this is bothering me, and I honestly root for Epic for this, is that okay, you're going to help me with the initial sale of the product. You're going to get 30%. Forget that. Um, uh, uh, Forget that Fortnite is actually free to play.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to help me sell the product in the initial phase. Okay. And if that product was valued at $60 and you're going to get your 30% cut, let's say you're going to take $20 out of those. Now, if I continue to support my product and I continue to sell after I've acquired my customer, because the customer now has a direct line of communication with me, I would not give you that 30%. I don't believe that you deserve it. Sure, you host those apps on your servers, and whenever there's an update, you push it for them. But that also does not justify a 30% cut. And when I say a 30% cut, do you know how much of a cut that they're taking annually? Almost 1.2 billion.
Just out of
They take
Fortnite.
30%, yeah, 30% out of 1.2 billion. So that's an astronomical number for a service that doesn't require it, and it's not justified. And when Apple went ahead and went and targeted Apple and said, we're going to delete all your accounts, we're going to remove any support that you're having on our systems, and the other developers that are using Unreal Engine to develop on our own system are going to get cut out also. What Apple did, it just basically shot itself in its foot. I mean, can you imagine that you are basically selling a car, okay? And because you had an issue with the tire manufacturer, you stopped selling those tires to everyone. Okay, that's exactly what happened here. And honestly, because they had that much power, Apple might be in the hot seat at the moment. Epic might turn out to be the hero because they said that this company is a monster and has too much power. That power has to be filed down.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be brought down. So that's, I think, what's going to happen next with this process.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, there are definitely like different parts of the story that, like, I'm not with Epic on. It's like, how did they drag Apple? Like, how did they basically put sort of a bait and had Apple bite on the bait to get to where they are right now. That's not a practice that I would support, honestly, because that was a breach of the contract that they had with them. I mean, what do you, like? I'm just putting a situation over here, just a hypothetical situation. What if Epic said, "Hey, Apple, I just want to meet and discuss this." Okay, they went down, they sat down. They're like, "Okay, we understand that your terms and conditions are like that, but you know, we are a very good selling app. We're generating 1.2 billion a year. Um, I think you should reduce like the cut that you take." And
Okay.
do you think that move would have resulted in something or not?
I think, uh, I think it is something that I really how to word. I don't know how to word this without sounding a little bit too. But just let's keep it in this way.
Okay.
I'm sure that Epic tried to talk to Apple,
Mm-hmm.
also from a legal sense. It wasn't just like a normal business sense, also from a legal sense. But Apple did not want to budge. They did not want to listen, and basically, this is where we're at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so um, moving forward, I think that Epic is basically David going after Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you are gonna reach a point where um, Goliath is too big a target, and David just knows where to hit Goliath in the right spots, because this was a battle plan that was ready and made. I mean, they even had, just 2 days later, they had an entire cinematic intro and an entire event planned around this, and it might be in the end. I think it's a good thing. I really do wish that Apple and Epic reach some sort of settlement. But if they don't, it can end up very badly for Apple and everybody in the tech industry, because it's going to introduce new legislation, new laws, that 30% has to be justified to every online marketplace, and that will create a decline in terms of revenues that those marketplaces generate. And just to give you something to perspective, if I have a banking application and I do financial transactions, Apple does not charge anything. They cannot charge that 30% that happen in those apps.
If they were a banking company,
If they're a banking company,
yeah.
or even something that has to do with health, because you can pay for your health services via an application. Okay, so that 30% does not apply. Again, Epic is providing the option to pay outside of the Apple ecosystem. Okay, and that's it. And they're also providing an option to pay inside the Apple ecosystem. I don't know if you've seen the screen, but you could pay through Apple or pay through Epic Direct. That's all that's there.
So they didn't.
Again, it's the customer's choice.
They didn't advertise against it. Did they put incentives to the customer if they buy through their store? They're gonna get something
Hello?
more. Hello, Yak.
Yeah, if they go through their store, they're getting a 20% discount.
You see?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's what it is.
It's a pro-consumer move. You're adding more competition to the market, so the consumer is getting the better deal out of it.
Oh well, well, let's see how it goes. This is a very interesting case, and I think our future lawyers will definitely study this case because
Inshallah.
it's definitely an interesting way to take on the tech industry in a way. All right, moving on. GeForce RTX the 30 series. I'm sure if not everybody on this channel has seen the ads already. I'm not gonna play the video. I'm just gonna go through the new GPUs, the 390, the 380, and the 370. The 370 is $500, okay, and it's better than the 2080 Ti that's marked around how much is the 2080 Ti, Yousef, تعرف؟
$1,500.
$1,500. A $500 card is better than it. I don't know what they had in mind when they published this, but I'm looking forward to it. I think, like, I was playing a game yesterday. I don't know if you played it, Yusuf. Control.
Oh, amazing game.
Yeah. So I was playing it yesterday, and I felt that the performance of the game was bad. Mainly because I think they had, like, the publisher has an issue with the performance per se, but it kind of went through my mind. Should I buy a new graphics card? Maybe that will fix it. The issues from the game, by the way, I kind of done a research about it, and the game has a problem with rendering. But yeah, a lot of people are actually excited for this generation or this batch, and to see that the 370 is giving you more power than the 2080 Ti, that's a pretty low blow for the people who already bought the 2080 Ti. Keep in mind that the advertisements for the 2080 were really much better than the 30 series. They have the Cyberpunk limited edition card, and now you're publishing a card that's like literally third of the price. I don't know if that's a good business practice move.
First off, Zishan, would you buy a 30, a 30 series card to help you with your graphic work?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty beautiful card. I hope it can be external instead of internal. It's quite good looking card.
Yep.
And if it gives a better performance, why not? If I have been using my this one, okay, for a very long time.
1030.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, definitely if you have something advanced, it boosts up your work. So my current card is very slow right now. So I will be definitely using it if it boosts up my performance. But
It-
what I do, that's my personal preferences. What I do is that I try my best to work on slow end machines, okay, and then I
Mhm.
move to a fast end machine. Why? Because slow end machines give me to learn all the possibilities I can do, okay, by enhancing or coming up in a way that I can do without having an expensive thing, okay, like an
Mhm.
expensive machine. And when at the last resort, if I cannot do anything, I move to the fast machine. So, but I think if they are delivering what they are promising, so why not?
All right. Honestly, I am happy because I was about to buy a 2080 card. Okay.
You were one
Not
of
a T-
those. You're one of
I was
those.
one of them. I see that the cards that I have is basically 970s doing a SLI. So two graphic cards that
Oh.
are really, really old.
Yeah.
They're starting to show their age, and they can't keep up with the technology. So having saved almost $1,000 by just getting the 3070 model, okay, I am really happy. Okay, that I postponed that. The second thing is, I mean, again, you need to understand that a lot of factors go into the production of these devices. Um, when the Bitcoin craze and Bitcoin mining was going on, it wasn't gamers and media creators that were buying these cards. They were just basically miners. They filled up rooms with with graphic cards, and they drove up the prices sky high. Okay, you couldn't find a graphic card unless you bought it as a pre-made, with a pre-made option from a company like Dell or something like that. And I mean, even cards that were like 960, people that did not even want them, they just bought them up and turned them into mining machines. Now, the mining craze is almost over. A lot of people have understand that they've made poor investments. Um, uh, but down the line, that created competition to actually, push the hardware more to come up with faster GPUs and faster things. And I think because certain markets overestimated demand, a lot of raw materials were left there. So what NVIDIA did was they capitalized an opportunity where they can buy the raw materials at a low price, okay, and they went and outsourced their production into Samsung. I don't know if you're aware of this, but a lot of the memory solutions that were, that are the 30 series is actually Samsung technology. Okay, they figured out a way to reduce cost and to utilize a market that was hungry for new cards and sell it out there. And honestly, after doing that, I felt like, okay, the consoles are going to be peasants again when they were just about, to catch up with PCs. Consoles will not have the same power for, as these generation of PCs. And I really was contemplating, should I get a PlayStation 5 or should I, I'll just invest in a gaming PC after this. Obviously, PlayStation 5 is still on the table for me, but again, something like this is definitely in the favor of the consumer.
Definitely looking forward to getting a 390 RTX. Like the memory size is so different. It's not even funny. Like the current one, I have a 1080 Ti in my computer right now, and it has an 8 GB memory size. The 390 has 24 GBs. Okay. Like I don't know, dude. Yani, if I buy this now, yani I say for the next 5 years I'm sorted. It is definitely an attractive offer or option. Basically, the 2080 didn't offer that. They just like said, oh, RTX is the thing right now, and it's gonna be like better light reflections and stuff like that. But it didn't change the capacity of the card. It's still 8 GB. Now you can see like, oh, I'm getting 24 GB out of this card. Like I'm gonna have more capacity, a more smoother processing in Zen, and I can literally play 2 games at the same time if I want to.
I don't know why, but yeah, go ahead.
Dude, I can literally play Tomb Raider on 2 screens, 2 separate saves. It can be done.
Wow.
In Zen, on one machine. And it's not gonna lag, not gonna do anything that's bad. But it is an interesting time we're gonna see. Yani, at the moment where basically consoles were trying to reach, PC has gone way ahead. So I'm really wondering what's next for the gaming industry. All right, I'm gonna move forward to our favorite game of the couple of weeks past, and we've heard a lot about this game. Um, Fall Guys is making headlines across for the past 2 weeks since we've done the last show. These are the headlines that came out for Fall Guys. Fall Guys has made history on PS Plus, and the numbers of people who got it when it was free on PS Plus. Um, it basically surpassed 7 million in sales on Steam. Um, there is a Chinese publisher that's planning to publish it in China on mobile. So get ready. It's gonna be the next PUBG, I would say. Um, we also have the collaborations that are happening for other games with Fall Guys. So Near Automata is currently thinking about a future collaboration with the Fall Guys. I've also read on a separate post that Cyberpunk is gonna have a separate collaboration with Fall Guys. So they're gonna have those are mainly for the skins. So I don't know if that's level based. I'll be really interested if there are levels that are similar to like the environments of Cyberpunk or Near Automata. Also, Fall Guys have recently conducted an auction to raise money for charity for the special effects. If for those who don't know, Special Effect is a charity organization based in the UK that develops gaming gear for disabled or handicapped people. So Fall Guys have created special costumes in game for people who would pay for them, and basically the outcome of that will go to charity. And I think that's a really great move. Everybody wants to have their swag in Fall Guys, and I think that's one way to do it. Um, and the I guess PlayStation caught off to the craze, and they're like, you know what, we want our exclusive costumes as well. So PlayStation will get their own set of costumes, I guess, like PlayStation does for these kind of things. So that's pretty much the Fall Guys series. I guess they're gonna add a new thing that's called the big Yeetus hammer in this course in Fall Guys. So it's gonna push you right over there. I think that takes away from the experience, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
Hmm. I think if you have a successful IP,
Mm-hmm.
you need to capitalize on every opportunity that you have from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that was good,
All right.
in my opinion. I mean, that was in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, like in Fall, like I like the game. I play the game, but I do have a number of I don't know reservations about certain mechanics in the game. Like, it is a battle royale. At the end of the day, one person's gonna win. Why do you include team-based challenges in that? Like, I think all the challenges should be like every person for himself. But that's just my opinion. And if it works for them, it works. But I think if at the end it's not a team winning, why? Okay, you can include a new option in the next season that says, squads or whatever you want to call them. But if you're gonna put me in a competition where one winner is there, at least keep all the competitions based on one player's performance, not a team performance where if the team loses, I get kicked out of the game. That's my only reservation moving forward with the game. But I like the game. I play it almost every day. So moving forward, now we're at the industry news segment, and I understand that we're almost around time. So I'm gonna go real quick on this, and I'm gonna take your comments real quick on this as well. So Unity's long rumored IPO is finally moving forward. Um, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. Zishan, you've used Unity. What does that mean for you?
Um, like I don't know at this stage. Like going? Like, what's the rumor about? Like, I have not like followed what was like this rumor going on. As I know, it is like it's there for a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, like there were a couple of ones, but
Mm-hmm. Do you
I'm
want to
not sure
go
about the
ahead,
IPO.
Yusuf, and explain?
Yeah, so basically, when when Unity basically got established, uh, it was a game development company that developed an engine. Then the project they worked on, I think, what was canceled or wasn't successful, and they decided to sell the engine
Mm-hmm.
to people. So that's how the Unity engine came about. Now, a few years later, you're looking into an industry where you have Unity, you have Unreal, you have Godot, you have what was the RPG Game Maker and
There is
Game
also
Maker, and
yeah.
there are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of competition out there. And in order to stay competitive, you need to upgrade and improve yourself and get ready to offer um, better tools. So when you offer up your company for an IPO, you're just basically saying that, okay, I need more people backing me up and I need more money so I can spend it on research and development. So that's my assumption, as it would be. So a lot of people who are fans of Unity, who have actually made money out of Unity, are going to throw their money into this. A lot of investment companies are paying attention to gaming as another, as another industry to invest in. I know that Tencent will be interested, and they will throw their money in Unity. I know that a lot of game developers who are Unity fanboys are going to throw their money into it if they have. I mean, even buying one share is something. And and this is a phenomena that has been seen with Apple. A lot of Apple shareholders are actually fans of Apple, although they own very minor shares. But again, they're being part of something that they like. So I think the IPO is going to be very popular. A lot of people are talking about it, and let's see. I think after the IPO, Unity will have a lot of interesting announcements moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're gonna definitely, have one of those skyrocket investment stories out there. Like, as you said, Tencent is definitely standing in the way to invest in such things. So I expect like a huge share from Tencent at least.
Mm.
All right, moving forward, Facebook claims iOS 14 will harm developers that rely on ad-driven revenue. Um, so Facebook is making other claims about Apple. Interesting. Um, I guess what Facebook is warning developers about is of all stripes, but it doesn't include segments of the game developers who rely on in-game ads. A special page branded for gaming promises that the audience network can expand that reach of your game monetization, help you retain game players, and drive sustained growth. Um, so I'm guessing that they're not focusing on games that are ad revenue driven because they just want to focus on things that actually are de- basically physical development of the game versus ads. Um, what do you think, Yusuf?
I think Apple knows how to market, but and with them entering the games market with their Apple Arcade,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they really want to go into this direction. But again, if you look into the pure intentions behind Apple, I mean, I'm sure they hired industry experts to come into their company, but the question remains: is it going to stick? Is it going to be a success? Um, if for by some reason I'm going to earn less on the Apple platform, um, you know, down the line, Apple's not going to be a preferred development platform for me. I mean, they've already showed that how vindictive they can be. And in all honesty, although Apple has doesn't hold the majority share, they do have a sizable revenue from the mobile market. Down the line, I think Apple is going to be is going to eat its own tail, and it's going to regret some of those decisions, and it will spend a lot just to get people back on its side. Again, it's you need to look into the history of Apple before moving forward.
Yeah, I get it. I guess there are a lot of controversies happening around Apple nowadays.
Facebook is taking advantage of that situation.
I mean, everybody.
Even
is.
Microsoft is against Apple.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like the industry's kind of like all targeting versus Apple kind of thing. Okay, moving forward. India's Prime Minister appeals for games based on Indian culture and folklore tales. Narendra Modi offers a rare display of government support for India's emerging games industry. Have you seen this in recent time, Yousef, that a government official goes out in public and says we need to make more video games about our culture?
Okay, so the topic of government and culture. So, see, when it came to understand, the games are a creative medium, okay? And when you look into culture, you see books, you see music, you see movies, and games are also considered a part of the culture, at one point or another. So, examples of government supporting games would be in Poland. The Polish Prime Minister actually gave a gift to Obama in the form of a collector edition of The Witcher 2 when Obama came, visited, and praised the digital economy of Poland and how games were actually contributing highly to it. When you go to the end of the Rio Games in 2016, I think Prime Minister Abe went at the finals of the Tokyo wearing a Mario hat and standing on a green tube that you find in Mario, and invited people to come to Tokyo 2020. So there is definitely an influence that will allow government officials to move and support the video game industry. And I think there's also a call to express the culture and the mythology of video games, of a country within, or a nation within games. A good example would be in Mexico and Brazil. Brazil has been known with something that's basically the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Tourism did a project called Brazil Quest. Have you ever heard about it, guys?
Nope. First time hearing about it.
So what they did was they wanted to increase tourism to Brazil, and one of the strategies that they did was they took game developers that were up and coming in Brazil, told them to build games around their culture, and they sent them all around important areas in the world. They kept them in London, they kept them in Hong Kong, they kept them in Dubai, and they asked the developers to create a buzz and market around those games and having people, go to those, come and visit Brazil. Apparently, it worked on some level, and people are, using Brazil Quest as an excellent case study, which I think a quick Google search will give you the information that you need on what actually did. Speaking of this, Are you aware of the Pakistani indie development, oh, sorry, game development scene, Zishan?
Yeah, there's a lot of there. Recently, I just like watching a news like on a online news channel. So they made a game which is completely, based on like a Pakistani local game development studio.
Okay.
It's like it's more like a Facebook game.
Hmm.
If you remember, there used to be like games like Farmville and something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. And there are like a couple of studios there in Pakistan, which they're making games and they do collaboration with others. So there is one called iTriangle. iTriangle is quite good. They're making good games, and there are like uh, like a lot there. But still they have not reached to the console gaming or the indie console gaming at this time.
Mm-hmm.
But more of this mobile gaming, you can find mobile games and online games.
I see. Oh well. They're in this article. They're referring to Raji in specific, Yousef, and it's gonna
Okay.
launch on the Nintendo Switch this month, I think. Um, I don't have a Switch, so too bad for me. But I think it's gonna come out on PC as well.
Yep.
It's funny because it's the studio that's developing Raji is in Pune, where I studied.
Oh,
So I wonder what part. Yeah, I just want to know. I'm just curious. Um, all right, moving forward. 60 plus dollars for a game isn't a fair price. G2A study refines. Um, I went through the whole article earlier. I'm just gonna summarize it with these words, and you guys let me know what you guys think. So, compared to the income of basically people between the age of 16 to 24, um, buying a $60 plus game or a game that's $60 is kind of like there's no way to justify it for a person of that age to spend money on something like that. Um, so G2A has conducted this study where it shows that basically 39% of the respondents said that they basically spent 200 to 1,000 on their gaming setups. 35% of the respondents even said that they had gone on into debt to afford a gaming hardware or software. Um, so that's for the hardware part. Um, for the games themselves, I'm just uh, for the games themselves, only a quarter of the interviewees said that they wait for games to be on sale before making a purchase. On, only 70% of them said they were willing to pay the full price for a new title. So you're taking people that yeah, between 16 to 24, I would say majority of the people in that group don't have their own jobs per se. I'm just putting it out there. Um, how can you expect them to afford something that's around the $70 plus, which is basically what's going to happen to the next gen? For example, the 2K NBA announcements games that are going to come out, and they've already marked them for $70. Like, how do you think the backlash will be from the consumer market moving forward on this?
hmm. So, Zishan, would you like to take this first?
Uh, I think like as the prices are increasing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe because of this, at the same time, we have like piracy issues. Because
True.
what happens is that when uh, anyone who cannot afford a game and is a hardcore gamer, so he as a last resort, what he do is that he takes a piracy like path, and like a deep web and or the dark web, it's a big place where they can get all kind of games for free, and then once he starts that, then he sticks to it. So other way around, it's harming on the both sides basically. So this is how like my take on it is at this stage right now.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion on this is, if you're gonna, like, if I'm somebody who pays the price for a game, um, and you're basically punishing me because other people's are pirating the game. So if other people's are pirating it, you should basically invest into solutions for not pirating it, and have basically consumers that pay for the product actually benefit from this, not the other way around of being punished for somebody else's mistake. That's how I feel about it. And Yusuf has basically explained sort of like some of the historic percentages of how these prices have been shaped. Um, so I don't see how, basically with the new gen coming up, you don't have like a physical copy anymore. You have a digital copy of everything. So costs of distribution and costs of getting those games to the market is non-existent anymore. Like there's no storage, there's no retail. I mean, it's just basically put it on an online platform, and it sells. So having $60 moving forward, I can't justify it, because the whole sales chain has changed. So you're not having the same costs anymore. Why are you charging me even more now, when it's easier for you to sell your games? What do you think, Yusuf?
So, just to put it into perspective, um, video game companies, they budget games and then they estimate the number of sales, and in the end they just say that, okay, is it worth it to develop this game based on this budget?
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna generate a profit out of it? Because in the end, even if you're making a game as a company, you need to pay the bills. You don't want to get paid. That's your own business, but the hardware comes at a cost. Um, the website, the the office, the machine that you use. So there's a cost behind everything. So that's one factor to consider. Now, the tools that are available have made game development much easier than before. So
Mm-hmm.
you can model and animate and create graphics at a much faster and more efficient rate than it used to take.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. The second thing is, you know, uh, people expect to be paid for their skills. So the higher quality skills will require higher salaries. Okay, and that's where the labor cost comes in. But there are also shortcuts that game development studios use. They don't create everything themselves. There are things where they just could buy assets that have already been made,
Mm-hmm.
and players will not notice that this has been made for another game. Okay, and so on and so forth. So basically, there's a debate saying that actually games should cost less than 60. This was earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're talking about, finding a game at a store for $60 and finding it on an online store for $60, it should be cheaper. Yes, it should be cheaper, but don't forget, retailers will not sell your products after that. Meaning that you need to sell the PlayStation as a physical device. Okay, and if you're gonna sell, and if you're gonna, and they need to keep generating revenue from the games that they sell, because it's a shared economy. They'll sell the console, but they'll also sell the games so they can generate revenue from behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So if game companies opted to keep the prices the same, and in some cases a little bit more expensive on online platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but just in order to satisfy the retailers, the people that are going to sell the consoles themselves and stay afloat with the games. Uh, However, with each generation of new games, okay, that's one factor. The other factor that we should look into is um, if I want to, and as Zishan, I think you can add value to this point. Uh, if you're designing a high poly character with a lot of details, would it be as simple, would it be as time consuming as designing a low poly character with little, much less details? I mean, how much would you spend? You're going towards realism right now, and how much time does realism and perfectionism take from you?
Well, obviously, when you're making something like more closer to real, so you have to spend more time on making it look like it's real. So whereas you're making something which is low polygon, so or you are spending time on making it attractive and then with a like lower number of polygons without consuming a lot of memory. So moving towards high polygon, it takes quite time. Uh, but it doesn't mean that like there are less efforts for the low polygon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think even the way that we design games is going to be a little bit different. There are more costs that are associated with creating games that will go and utilize the latest technologies and give us something that's a little bit more realistic down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's where the cost justification happens. But then again, you have Ubisoft that's not gonna that is opting to sell games for 70. They're one of the companies that don't want backwards compatibility. So what do we know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see how it goes. But I mean, it's fair to say that the market needs a change at this point. Um, because like physicality has changed of the game. Like you just have to basically readjust your prices based on that. I know there are like fixed prices moving forward, but I don't know. I don't know how you're gonna justify to the customer that we're gonna actually ask you to pay more for us doing less. You know. Okay. Moving forward, Polish game industry is worth nearly 500 million euros. Um, uh, I think it's gonna be worth more after Cyberpunk hits the market. So let's see how that goes. Best CD Projekt Red is one of the biggest ones. They have like 440 studios in Poland that are just dedicated for game development, I guess, which is crazy. I didn't know that number was actually the real thing. So yeah, kudos to them. Um, the next up, Devil May Cry 5 multiplayer mode adds PvP to the series. Okay, so I think this mode was not released with the game earlier. They're releasing it now, and I think that's because most of the games you see released now are having a co-op aspect to them, or having a multiplayer aspect where you have to go against each other. So I guess Capcom figured like, hey, since this is the new trend, let's just put a new mod to the game that we already released 18 months ago, which I think is a bit too late. But I guess for them, it's never too late in the game to look at those things.
That I agree with.
All right. Moving forward, Museum of Arts and Digital Entertainment shuts down due to COVID-19. The Oakland-based museum will be moving its collection of 40,000 items to storage and hoping to reopen in 2 years. Wow, that's a shame, صراحة. 40,000 يعني this museum is in Oakland, California, and you're talking about a collection of 40,000 items. Think about like all these arcade units that are there. Like I just want to I want to see it. It's just it's sad that it's not going to be there, but I really hope that somebody that does a donation run or a charity run and actually keeps them up in business like they did to this museum in the UK. So a couple of months ago, a museum in the UK was about to shut down, but they made a fundraiser and they kept it open through COVID. So I just hope that something similar happens.
I hope so, because when it comes to cultural and history appropriate, when you're looking into culture and history, video games are a little bit underappreciated. And I could not blame them anymore because of the rise of mobile games. But
yeah, I mean, it is a part of history, whether you like it or not. And I don't understand why a museum such as this is not getting state support, Sad. Okay, Tencent and Zeph Davis partnered to relaunch IGN in China. They said relaunch. Yousef, do you know what happened when it first launched and didn't work in China?
this is quite new news to me. I mean, I am as surprised as you. I didn't know that it was. It went through that.
Okay. I thought you would know more about this, but let's see. So the highlight that IGN China will be editorial independent from the rest of the Tencent group. This is no doubt to assure. Okay, no bias really. IGN already has 28 international editorials. Well, they don't mention what happened previously. So Ziff Davis, Vice President of Global Partnership, Adam Doley said, "We're hugely excited about the partnership with Tencent, one of the most talked about companies in the world today, and the ideal operator of IGN business in China." So you're saying that Tencent is going to operate the business in China while, I don't know. I really don't know.
China is a little bit of a different market to what we're known as, to what we know, and it's a little bit more of a controlled market. Basically, you notice what happened with Apple recently, where China has requested Apple not to sell not to put any app on the Chinese marketplace, unless it has been approved by the government. So you never know what happens with China down the line. I mean, although China is very profitable as a game developer, there's also that risk of government intervention that will actually take your investment in a very bad direction. I would like to add one more thing. Are you familiar with the South Park controversy? And
Which one? Like, there are a lot of controversies with South Park.
Yeah, no, the Chinese one, where basically China scrubbed its internet out of South Park. They removed any trace.
Yeah, yep. That's true.
And there's also the World of Warcraft. Was it World of Warcraft? No. There was a competition run by Activision, and someone, the winner said "Free Hong Kong," and he was just banned and fined, and his prize money was taken. What was the event? If you can remember.
It's for Hearthstone. It's the card game.
Yeah, for Hearthstone.
But like the way that Blizzard justified that was because he broke the rules of the competition by bringing political issues into an environment was made for video games, which is like you're entering this competition to play a video game, and that's it. You don't come in and like
I
state your political opinions.
it's a double standard because Activision has actively taken a lot of stances, the political stances to be exact, with the BLM and Black Lives Matter and other things. Okay, so uh, again,
Yeah.
who would not know about this?
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. EA Play now available on Steam. For those who don't know what EA Play is, it's a subscription provided by Electronic Arts EA that you pay basically $5 a month, and you get access to the library that EA has through Steam. So if you're into interested in this kind of business model, go ahead and try it out, I guess. Um, they are offering a 58% discount if you go for a year. But I'm one of the people who are still in favor of actually buying the game versus having a subscription. When it ends, I can't have access to the game anymore. I would rather have the game with me throughout. Like whenever I feel like it, I can just click on it and then I can play it. But having a subscription, I have to pay $5 because I want to have access to that game whether I play it or not. That's not my favorite business model. What do you think, Yousef?
Again, 30%, and I want to sell my games. That's all. See, the main thing is if I made a game like Flappy Bird, okay, and I created my own marketplace and I wanted to sell it, nobody will come to it because nobody knows my marketplace exists.
Mm-hmm.
If I created a game like Flappy Bird and kept it on Steam,
Mm-hmm.
I might get those players. And for EA Play to exist in Steam, I think it's a move where they will collect the users
Mm-hmm.
and down the line eventually, take those users back to EA. But again, you said this in earlier streams.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way that the current services of EA compare to the current services
Of Steam.
of Steam.
Yeah. I'm getting somebody from the stream says, "Why you not talking?" You guys hear me through the stream, okay, la?
Let me see.
Should be okay.
Can you see
يعني.
something?
إيه. I think it should be okay because I can see my. I
Okay,
think it should be okay because I can see.
that's
Yeah, I
me.
can hear you on my screen.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know Irish. I don't know why you can't hear me. I'm just
I,
listening to somebody else's point of view over here.
I think Irish is trying to talk to Zishan, and he wants him to talk.
Oh, yeah. He didn't specify who. I thought he was talking to me. My
Mm.
bad. All right, moving.
By the way,
What?
it can be confusing where I'm talking and Zishan is there, and people would think that the voice is Zishan's voice.
Yeah, I mean, Yousef is not a camera person, so
I'm camera shy.
he's
I'm
camera
extremely
shy.
ugly.
Yeah,
I
but
look like Gollum from from Lord of the Rings.
I don't know. I get what he's saying. He's saying I said hello in the text chat, but I didn't say hello verbally.
Okay.
Mainly because they were talking and I didn't want to like jump in and just say hello in between their conversation. So I'm sorry that I didn't say hello, Irish. How you doing? But yeah, moving forward, Capcom announces TGS 2020 online lineup and schedule. I'm interested in this because I want to see more about the new Resident Evil, the Resident Evil Village 8, and I hope that they announce a new Street Fighter game. I'm really hoping so. I'm also hoping for like a new Dragon Dogma style game because recently they just announced the Dragon Dogma series on Netflix. Did you see that, Yousef?
No, really.
Yep.
By the way, I really loved Dragon's Dogma, and when Dark Arisen came out,
Oh yeah.
I know it was basically the same game with some expansion pieces there, but
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
I
Um,
think it's one of it's the generation defining game. Honestly, like if whoever is listening in the chat, if you haven't played Dragon's Dogma, at least go on YouTube and check it out. It really made that generation of games in terms of fighting style, in terms of story. Um, it's an open world adventure game, and it's one of those kind of games where you actually miss part of the stories if you don't go into all the areas, kind of thing. So if you pass, if you kind of progress in the main mission, the other side missions will disappear, kind of thing, which is bad. But I think it's all part of like the narrative and the world that they've built in that game. So if you don't have time, I think the Netflix series will give you sort of a prologue of what's gonna happen in the game. So it's not about the current series on Netflix is not about the game. It's more of a prologue about of another character who was in the same situation as the character you're gonna be playing as. So yeah, go and check that out.
actually, if I'm expecting anything, is I really want to know what happened to Deep Down, the Capcom version of Dark Souls. Do you know about that?
I did see that. I looked at it and I was like, okay, this might be a new like I thought it was actually a sequel to the Dragon Dogma when I first saw it. I was like, yes, they're gonna make it. But I think they're gonna utilize the same engine they have to make that game. But I haven't heard anything mainly because they don't have the right time to actually announce such a game. That's my
I
opinion
agree
about
with
it. Okay, so they're definitely gonna really say something about Resident Evil Village, Street Fighter Champion Edition. Dude, come on, where's 6? I need Street Fighter 6 here. The Tokyo Game Show 2020 online. So, okay, I mean there we can expect some new stuff coming up. All right, moving on. PAX is gonna be online this year as well. So, for people who don't know what PAX is a convention for video games as well. That happens in the U.S. Usually in, well, it happens basically in North America, Australia, and the U.K. But I always check out the one that happens in the States. But this year, since it's digital, it's gonna be from the September 12th to the 20th, and the panel is already revealed. So Mike Pondsmith from the creator of Cyberpunk is gonna be featured. Tony Hawk is gonna be featured. Who else? The cast of Overwatch. Oh, they're planning a new Overwatch, so that could be something cool. All right, next one. Ubisoft's Forward returns on September 10th. So if you didn't get to see Ubisoft Forward the first time around, this is basically all the games that they didn't reveal in the earlier one, and they're gonna reveal it in this one. So we're gonna get more of For Honor, I guess, Hyperscape, Rainbow Six, and Watchdog Legions. I think that was the first one though, right? The second one should be. So there's a trailer about it. I'm just gonna play the trailer real quick and just see what's going on.
So Zishan, what would make an excellent video game trailer from a director point of view?
I think the realism and the way it is, like when you work in the movie. Now in the movies, when you're making something like an epic trailer of a movie, the thing is you have a lot of things that you have to keep in mind that you cannot do, such as dangerous stunts and so many other things, and uh, some effects you cannot put because of you have limitation. But when you're making something like for a gaming trailer, like cinematic, so there is a lot of openness in that. Like you can do a lot of different kinds of stunts. You can bring up, you can explore a lot of creativity, things that are basically like larger than life, like suspension of disbelief. You can bring over here to make something look very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And can games, during the game, do you think that you can make it reach a point where you're basically playing a movie? You can set the direction there.
Yes, I think we are reaching there. Like most probably you have seen that IGN like a review about the new the PS5 hardware,
Mhm.
like how things were realistic in that the lighting, the way the lighting works, where the way the clothes are, the wind is blowing the clothes. So those are like really creative parts. Like I don't know which game they were playing.
Uh,
Uh,
it was a demo.
yeah, it was a demo.
It was just a demo. Like this is not a real game.
Yeah.
They just made
So
it for the reveal.
yeah, yeah. So that's what they were like showcasing, and the whole thing was about you know like the creativity here. If like when you if you have played uh, the Assassin's Creed the game,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like there is a lot of uh, like the creative direction in that. Especially when he goes up and stands up on a like a rod or something. It's iconic, like eagle flying, the hawk flying, the sound effects. Those things are quite like getting there. And now as the technology is moving forward, the more and more things are coming up.
I just wanted also to point out that you've got directors like Kojima, who even on the PlayStation 1 era was able to produce games like Metal Gear Solid in a cinematic experience. Basically, he made you feel that you're really dealing with an espionage movie, an espionage game, and it translated really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would a director need in terms of those skills?
Uh, the one thing that you have to keep in mind is uh, the the feeling of a gamer, like how he's feeling while he's playing. So when a director knows that I want to make him feel like he is, in a verge of saving someone, so he should feel like he's a hero. So, or after he will put a move in a game that he jumps around and then he rolls and then he moves from one place to another place, and then when he moves up, automatically he feels like he's the hero. He's the one who is in the game. Like the game based on Tom Clancy. So you automatically feel like, oh, you are the one doing the hero. You are doing the thing. And then games such as like Resident Evil, you have jump scares. So director should know wha- when is the point that the gamer will jump off his seat, and then he will feel like there is a something's happening, and then it will make him feel scared or scream. So that's like one thing. So there like the directors, creative directors, art directors who work for the gaming, they they studies a lot, the, the best director. They studies a lot the game, the gamers, the way of playing. They know how the gamers feel when they're playing. This is how you direct in the gaming industry. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if we like relate to the movie industry, the film industry, is like they know the audience, what the audience likes. Like suppose if you want to make audience feel sad, so what they will do is that they will kill the favorite character in the movie. You know, if you have seen have you followed like Game of Thrones?
Yep, I
Yeah.
watched. Yeah.
Yeah. So in Game of Thrones, so like when there was a like part, the Red Wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a thing that made the people go, oh, that sad thing that's at the end of the part.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how in the gaming it works. Like uh, the news, the cyberpunk is coming when, and like in the trailer, if you have seen that uh, Keanu Reeves when he comes up, so that's one of the cameo that gives goosebumps. Oh, Keanu in cyberpunk, those kind of things. That makes like like these things come up in the art director's mind, the creative director's mind. This is how they will push the game.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Um, all right, I have one last piece of news over here. Yusuf, do you have anything to say?
Actually, I just wanted to say that I totally agree with what Zishan said,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, it is really tough because it's not easy being a director, and it's not easy to achieve all of that and give the audience that feeling. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, setting a scene is definitely like, especially the starting scene of something. You want to capture the audience from the first get go. Like if the beginning was not nice, you're not emotionally invested into it. So yeah, that's a very important part of the process. The last piece of news that I have is for Rocket League. We discussed it a couple of streams ago. Rocket League is going free to play, and since it's been bought by Epic, they're planning to skip the P. Basically, when you say free to play, like anybody on anybody anywhere can play it, and since it's an online game, they're saying that PS Plus and Nintendo Network are not these costs are not going to be applied for that game. As we all know, PS Plus and Nintendo Network are paid for services, so you can have network enabled game for the games that are on the platform. So I'm really wondering how Epic is pushing the boundaries over here and having their game be the only free to play game without network charges. It's a very yeah, I just think it's a very interesting thing approached by Epic. So let's hope it's a fruitful one. So with that, I'm. This is basically the last segment of the stream. Thank you everyone for joining. Whoever stuck around for the past almost 3 hours. Zashan, I apologize for you.
It's okay.
We made
Always
you
a
stay
pleasure.
like 47 minutes more than we promised. I'm really sorry. But with these streams, it goes on with the conversations, and we kind of miss track of time. And thank you so much for staying with us, and thank you for coming on the show. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you and learn from your
Thank you for
experience.
inviting.
thank you
I'm
very much,
honored.
Zishan.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for inviting.
Mhm.
You're welcome.
A couple of last announcements before I close out. People who are in the Unreal community, Unreal Bahrain community. Keep your eyes peeled for tomorrow. There's gonna be an announcement for the monthly challenge. Yes, the monthly challenge are making a comeback, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It's gonna be announced tomorrow, so hope you guys join on that one. What is the last thing? Yeah, but that's pretty much. No, the other thing is, please check out Zishan's YouTube channel. It's Z Interactive on YouTube. Just go to YouTube.
Can you post the link?
Sure. I think I had it before. No, that's a different link. I just have it over here.
I'll just type.
You can type it in the chat, or I actually have it done. So this is the link for the channel. You can go on it and check out Zishan's work, from tutorials to things that will help you out with the with your if you're in the creative process or trying to use one of the softwares that Zishan uses. This is definitely a resource to check out. So please go and show him some love on his YouTube channel.
There's a playlist. They
yeah.
can go to the playlist and then they can, see the courses separate. So the best way to view
Yeah.
it through the playlist.
Yeah, I can see it. So you have 3D Studio Max and you have Maya 2020. And mashallah, yani you already have like 23 videos in each. And they're for you guys to check out. So if you guys are interested, check out the channel. I believe Zishan is also planning to release more stuff on it. So, give him a subscribe, push that subscribe button over there, and be informed about the tutorials that Zishan is gonna publish. So with that, thank you so much, Zishan, for coming. This has been a pleasure, and I hope you stay part of the community, part of the group, and join us as a co-host like Yousef is doing right now. We do this every Saturday, and if you're free and you have some time, you can jump in, and we'll just discuss like the news of the industry, and we usually have a guest that we interview at the beginning. So if you're interested, there's always a show every Saturday here. So yeah, and thank you guys in the chat for whoever stuck around this long. Thank you so much, and let us know what you think. Send us DMs on Twitch if you want, or the social media handles that are right below. You'll have our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram down there. So if you can send us some pointers, some things that you want us to focus on, please let us know, and we'll try our best to accommodate with those. And with that, I bid you farewell, and you guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Good night. And